At this from a historical perspective is that the last time Kevin McCarthy went through this, when John Boehner stepped down and it looked like he was going to ascend to the speakership and they had to coalesce around Paul Ryan.
All right, so let's see how many more rounds this is going to take, because now we're on round 3, and I've heard also from a number of people that there's going to be defections in this round. So instead of 19, we're about to hear 20.
That he will get that opportunity again. So that gives
and what's going to go from here? How much further away do we go?
And when it comes to
how much further?
Contest, he wasn't willing to engage in a staring contest.
Where do we stop?
The last time this happened, because he was afraid of the consequences. Okay. This time around, if he doesn't win, he likely will just go away and we won't hear from him again. It'll be different than him trying to regroup and establish himself for another run for the speakership. So that's why you're seeing this very public fight on the floor.
Okay, hold on. I just want to see what.
But ultimately, the
Midas Touch guys are talking about too.
Humiliating them today. Do we have, Salty, the tweet by Congressman-elect Maxwell Frost, where he talks about, he goes, "I feel like I'm living in a world star video, the way McCarthy is getting beat down right now by his own party on the House floor." I thought it was a funny statement made by Congressman-elect Frost. It feels like he's in a world star video. But anyway, let's go back to the...
There we go. Sorry about that. I'm just hopping back and forth also to look and see what's going on. But it's not looking very good in round 3. So let's go back and just flop over here. And we're going to flop back over.
Keep in mind here was that there was probably some
see what they're talking about.
World that maybe after the first ballot, after the second ballot, they'd start to peel away from that 19 number of people that were firmly opposed.
14 so far.
As you point out, it's gone in the other direction, because the problem for McCarthy is it's not as though he has to peel away.
Supposedly there's going to be 20 in this round. So let's see if that actually happens to be 20
votes. And that group, the group of 5 that have basically been the never Kevins from the very beginning, have never given any indication
20 for Jordan.
that they are movable.
This is kind of scary. I mean, if Jordan,
see where his path is to get over this hump. Even
let me just quickly, right quick, let's just tap in and see where she's at too.
Exactly that. The capital of the United States of America came under assault, came under attack by Trumpers, by people carrying Trump flags.
You know, the 19 or so that are going to vote with Jordan, who say Jordan is the way to go.
Beating people, beating police officers, matter flags. And he
the frustration of
spoke
this.
The truth and said Donald Trump is responsible for this. Donald Trump is to blame.
Right.
The responsibility is his.
Right.
And went down to Magaloco.
Right.
Talk with Donald Trump.
Within days.
Anything but being Speaker of the House.
Yep.
And
that's all he wants to be.
Ever he needed to tell Kevin to shut the F up and to go back to Congress and to lay off of Trump, and Trump would help him become Speaker of the House. So now,
how's that working for you, Kev?
Is what the caller is saying, and now,
how's that working for you, Kev?
And so worn out and so defeated in round after round. See, now it's 13 against. Okay, he could only lose 4, so it's going to go to a 5th round now. Will Kevin get dispirited? Will Kevin
hold on?
Tired?
How far behind am I on this? Oh, I'm really far behind. Because it's like, oh my God, how far behind? Because I'm okay. She's getting ready to go to commercial, so let's see what she.
Like very satisfied with the result of the last election, because we feel like we saved democracy. We literally pulled democracy out of the pit where it was heading. The caller is suggesting it's not over. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not trashing you. I'm just telling you that I have to believe as an American, as a person who cares and serves and has I have to believe that there are enough Republicans that know this too and would never nominate him. Would never vote for him.
Well, no, okay, we're still. Hold on, what did he just say?
And it's remember to hit.
Is he just chilling?
Remember to hit the subscribe button right now to the Midas Touch YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, it's free to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now so you can get all the live.
Please go up there and talk to the Midas Touch guys. What fun! 16 for Jordan. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to here and bring this down.
Even before the election, I mean, my sense from Kevin McCarthy and talking to him over the course of the last 2 years is that he had no control over this caucus. He had a nominal.
This is crazy.
A bunch of people that he
How many times are they going to do this is the question.
political relationships with. He'd raised a lot of money for them. He's known them for a long time. But, that sort of assumes that you're going to have
The world we could have if it was not for... Well,
also that you're dealing
public funding is one thing, but it would have to be a lot more than that. We'd also have to eliminate the way that they do paid lobbying.
making this really hard for him or really leading the fight here.
And some of this shit would only be able to be done if it could be put into the Constitution.
Hoping to win the perspective.
Jeffries. Again. Third time. Jeffries.
These are people who are, they wanted to get the attention they're getting today, so this is kind of working out for them. Sorry, there's a cat.
McCarthy.
Oh, that's right. Pence's brother is also... I always forget about that.
Jeffries. Perry.
So anyway, this
Jordan.
was, I mean, it's quite a thing to see. I have no idea.
Wow.
I'm just sort of riveted.
On and on and on.
I mean, let's like.
Well,
ourselves today. Should
do
we
I
take a
want
look
to
at
come
the
back
Warren
at the
Boebert,
end of this
Matt Gaetz,
and
who's been under
really wrap up
investigation
with
for child
what
sex trafficking, Andrew
the
Clyde,
experience was like
January 6th.
watching this whole day go by?
Warren Boebert, who sends pictures of her kids with weapons.
Something that's not happened in 100. I mean, to be honest with you, this day, the first day back, has been like, who cares? Because we already knew everything usually in December.
Scott Perry,
We knew who the House Majority and Minority Leader were going to be. Very few times did it really make very much of a difference.
really surprised.
I mean, yes, there. Even when Nancy Pelosi came along, yes, there was a little bit of just this tiny little bit of ooh, she may not get it. It was like, no, she's gonna get it.
I mean, whatever the metaphor is when you get into
Calm down.
skunk or something. I mean, this is something that he knows about. He knows better. I mean, the working title of many of the stories.
You know what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of go off for now, and then we'll come back at about 3 o'clock, and we'll join in with Hal and see what's going on between this with Hal and enjoy the afternoon and make sure that this is a fun time for a little bit longer. See if they're still going at this. Hopefully somebody will come to their senses and say, let's adjourn for the day and come back at this tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
And they control their way. So obviously, I don't see a way out for them. So in that sense, yes.
But will they?
Claire, let me bring you back in. Again, this is not a far right wing of the party. This is a group that includes people involved in planning an effort to overthrow the United States government.
Crazy.
19 Republican House members were in the Roosevelt Room. It's a meeting we know a lot about. Hutchinson's testimony and others.
I don't get...
A baker's dozen was seeking pardons. Last time I checked, the only people that need pardons are criminals. I mentioned on the show yesterday.
Okay, we're at 19. Are we going to get to that magical number of 20 or 21? Because if he goes up, if it goes up to 20, I swear to God, it's time for this day to end. And I don't know if they're going to be smart enough to actually end it. To say, you know what, let's end this shit right now and be done with it. Let's not keep going on and on with this.
It's, the
But
interesting thing is Kevin McCarthy, I think, thought he could play this game the way it is currently being played. And by that, I mean...
I'm just feeling like this not only deja vu Matrix moment here.
he would, get Jim Jordan to be his friend and, co-opt
That was
Marjorie Taylor
George
Greene, and
Santos,
everything
the
would be
utter fraud
okay.
and traitor,
Keep in
just voting
mind,
for Kevin
this,
McCarthy, and Kevin McCarthy allowed George Santos, and the Republicans just let George Santos out there to further humiliate the MAGA extremists and the Republicans today. After the vote, I'll show you some more clips of George Santos being grilled by the press for basic questions and him refusing to answer, not knowing where his
Office was.
So,
or how to get to the floor,
now that there are,
or any of that stuff, which I'm sure was sent to him beforehand so that he could actually see where these places were.
McCarthy, as
Is that his kid? I think that might have been his kid.
Round the third roll call vote. We think that number will be at least 20.
But what's kind of fascinating about today so far also is hearing not just from the 20. There we go. We got the 20. We're at the 20. Why is this behind? There we go. That's why. Okay, sorry. So it just went the wrong direction. Jordan just got more than the last time. This is not good.
McCarthy. Care about getting things done for the American people.
This is not what you want to have happen for you.
It is not.
It's 20. No, it's going the wrong way, Mr. McCarthy. It's time for you to go home.
And control. And
I think what's his name might be right. That McCarthy may be out before the end of the year.
By no means is this a day to celebrate.
And the worst part is that McCarthy's district would just stay red. I don't know if it would just become more MAGA.
I mean, I think there is something
because it is a very MAGA district.
With dismay that grew into disgust.
And the funny part is, I know of a family member or a friend's family member who lives down there. Ooh, she hates the fact that she's surrounded by these people, but she loves where she's at. And that just sucks when you have to live in that kind of a situation.
Jordan now has 20 votes. He had 19 in the last round. So we'll see among the remaining 50 if there are any other votes to go. We're a little bit, Nicole, in the law of human behavior. If you look, Kevin McCarthy is seated by himself.
I saw you staring at the screen. Tell us what you were looking at.
This is interesting. So the tables you see that Scalise and Stefanik on the left side
20.
of the aisle are at a table. McCarthy's at a table on the right side of the aisle. But he's by himself, which is not, again, this is just kind of laws of human behavior. That's not a dynamic that a majority leader wants if they're trying to ascend to the speakership. And I would suggest if there is a closed Republican conference coming up, McCarthy played almost his last card in this morning's conference by going adversarial against his opponents. It was unlike McCarthy, right? He's scorched earth against all of them. Matt Gaetz supports Hakeem Jeffries. These people are with the Democrats, not with us. I'm fighting for the country. They're not. He went adversarial. He really doesn't have any other cards to play other than resignation in the sense of, okay, what do you want from me? I will be whatever puppet you want me to be. Again, as we spoke earlier,
how much more puppet can you get
I think
when you've literally given them everything but the single vote to throw you out?
The end of Kevin
I mean, that's literally the only thing he hasn't given them, because he gave them 5 votes.
He might survive.
5.
So what happens next?
Holy shit. How are you a leader?
I really think we break this down in 3 scenarios. Is there a Kevin McCarthy survival scenario that we just talked about? Second is...
And you seem to be...
Survival scenario. What the hell does that mean?
Fair, you ruled that out. When were you here? 6 weeks ago?
I've never thought Kevin McCarthy could get there, which goes to the bigger question of we do need a functioning House. America, to Claire's point, America needs a functioning House. Scenario 1 is Kevin McCarthy finds a way to survive behind closed doors in the coming hours. Scenario 2 is another member of leadership, Scalise, Stefanik, Hudson, somebody else, can get to 218. We don't know that that's the case. The third scenario that I think could fascinate much of America is a unity ticket or a unity speaker. You still have to have probably 150 plus Republicans. It will be a strong conservative Republican. It will not be a moderate.
Does it have to be a member of the chamber?
Doesn't have to be a member. This is the Fred Upton scenario, right? Someone universally respected by the
somebody
House,
from outside.
the House,
really?
Michigan member of Congress, led on health care reform. But you have to be able to get about 150 Republicans. And then Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats have to get to the point where they say, we will release about 75 of our members to vote. And it would be an exchange.
Which is going to be very hard to do considering he continues to get 212.
Democrats, as the minority party, expanded room to try to legislate over the next 2 years.
I mean, the Aaron Sorkin, fan in me, my heart swells at the idea of it, but it seems, would you describe it as far-fetched?
Extremely.
No, if Republicans can't solve this, that's where we inevitably end up. And I would suggest that all
But for how long can this
democracies
go?
around the world have coalitions.
That's the problem.
We would be looking at a little snapshot. This is just the House. But we would be looking at a little bit of coalition governing. Look, Scalise might get to 218. Unfortunately, Republicans are wired to just hate Democrats. They are not going to want that.
That's kind of crazy.
But if they can't solve,
But that's not the way it was when oh my God, it's just so weird to come from
I believe we
watching
have
this shit.
learned that a fourth
not
vote
even this
is
was
about to
not.
get underway. Do I have that right, control room?
Winstrup.
So they're still in the third.
Third round.
David
Okay,
Kelly
so
was
what we're going to do is
listening
take a
in.
break.
We're probably
Maybe
around
we'll come back
40
at 3
more votes to be
with
cast,
Hal and
but
see
there
what
will
comes of
be
it from there.
a fourth ballot.
Because
Mark,
this
leave it-
is ridiculous.
If your thoughts bubble
Absolutely
on top of
crazy
Kevin McCarthy's
ridiculous.
head,
And
what does it say?
I think this is going to keep going for a while. That's what's really bad. How long can this go?
Maybe go to the next step and just think, at what point does he kind of give up here? I mean,
Right. When does he say,
does he go even more?
Uncle, I give up.
Sort of
It's not going to work anymore. I can't do it. It's not going to happen.
I'm going with Devin Nunes to run Truth Social. I mean, where's he going to go, Mark?
Thank
There's
you.
only so many jobs in the Trump empire, right? I mean, it's funny. I was listening to David just now, and I never let myself entertain the notion of the unity Fred Upton scenario, but it made a certain amount of sense. Now, maybe in the Aaron Sorkin sense of the word. And
Well, maybe 2:30 and
which I
then
think is
go till
probably still
3:30 with just a
operative, but
little of his.
Look, I mean, it's
Other stuff I
you do
found
sort of
plus
wonder,
today's
in
early
maybe
part
more
of
likely scenario, the Steve Scalise scenario. I mean, I guess David.
we can yell about how we
what kind
agree
of
or
resistance
disagree
would
with each
there
other.
be to Scalise, assuming he has more support from
Back
the Freedom
later.
Caucus? Are the Don Bacons of the world, are the so-called moderate